Okay. Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Loza, your friend, your host, your coach. Today, we're kicking off day 2 of the 5-day podcast lead challenge for the July class for the UK and Europe. And I'm super excited. Thank you, Debra, for bringing all this. Debra, Peter, Angela, Vicky, Barb, of course, Mark. Who else? John Donnelly, the most connected man in the UK outside of the royal family and MI6. Always glad to have you here with us, my friend. So thank you for bringing and inviting your amazing friends to this fun, interactive, and truly transformational challenge. And tonight we're getting straight into the meat and potatoes. So welcome everybody. Debra, Hamish, Denise, Steve, Bernadette, Caroline, Russell. Sorry, Peter. I'll get it right. Peter, because I said Russell because it's big, so that's why. Peter, Vida, Altair, Keely, Mark, Sana, Pamela, Lorraine, Laura, Mark, Joseph, Michael, Kay, Fiona, Robin, Gifty. I'm in love with that name, Gifty.
Okay.
When God blesses me with a daughter, that's what I'm going to name her. Thank you.
Okay. I'm on it.
And you all know where it's coming from. So all of you guys are my witnesses. Thank you. David.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Steve, Bernadette. Oh, wait. Same people. Did I miss anyone? Fiona, Robin, Gifty, okay, Kimberly, Rebecca, Vicky, and of course, last but definitely not least, the one and only John Donnelly. Welcome, everybody.
Hey.
Glad to be here. Before we start, do you have any questions about last night? Sorry, yesterday, about day 1. Let me start sharing my screen. Before we start, kick off about today's topic. If you have any questions about anything we mentioned yesterday, please. That's your time. Any question about anything we covered yesterday? No? If you have a question, say it. If not, as the saying says, speak now or hold your peace forever.
Right. Okay. So it's not so much a question, but just to let everybody know, because I'm new to podcasting. And as I keep on saying, I was blown away by Payman's training for so many different reasons. And I took it upon myself not to do just one podcast, but I wanted to do 2 because they were slightly different. And today, the Sphere of Success podcast, which is all about business people who've overcome adversity, who have had challenging times and have come out the other side as successful people. I recorded the first interview this morning on that with a wonderful gentleman called Ben Rose, who calls himself the cycling accountant. And it's the first time I've actually had to interview anybody. And you know what? This whole thing about which we're going to go into, speaking from your zone of genius and finding out what that is, and then from the heart, I didn't have to worry at all, because all of the questions that came up, because it flowed so well, they just came up really naturally. So if anybody's got like a little bit of stage fright thinking, how am I going to interview somebody, or what's it going to sound like when I'm up there? Once you go through the zone of genius side of things with Payman and then speaking from the heart, I can honestly say it's worked incredibly well. So thank you very much, Payman. It was an enjoyable experience today. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure all mine. I'm super excited to hear all of the amazing progress you're making, all the great. You literally took this and literally you just flew with it. You run with it, and you're becoming a different person, and in the right sense. You're becoming the person you're meant to be. Now we're launching, I don't know how many, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. By the end of the year, we probably launch 5 podcasts, 5 successful, profitable podcasts. You have 2 already. So well done. Congratulations. And wow. Thank you. All right. I'm blushing. Any questions about comments, compliments about yesterday before we move on, before we start? Anyone else other than Debra? Once, twice? Okay, let's get going.
I had a dream which was unusual because it was obviously about this course, and I was talking. We were in a room, and I was talking to different people, comparing notes about this thing. So it must have impacted me on some big level.
What was the dream about? Tell us. Come on.
I was talking to different people about this course
Okay, beautiful.
and comparing notes.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for sharing. All right, so today we're going to talk about the, do you guys see my screen? Okay, so we're going to be talking about the benefits of podcasting, why podcasting is so powerful for businesses and entrepreneurs. We're going to be diving into the benefits of podcasting for both you personally as well as for your business. So let's get going. So again, the agenda for tonight, same as usual, introduction, dive deep, and at the end we'll have a Q&A. All right, so one thing that I want, so tonight, that's the menu for tonight. One thing that I forgot to mention yesterday is about the menu for the week. So I'm going to briefly go over this before I move on to today's topic. So tomorrow we're going to have an amazing day. Tomorrow we're going to be brainstorming live and launching your podcast in 3 easy steps. So make sure you be here tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be really diving deep and really looking into what's going to make or break not just your podcast, but your business overall. And that is, we're going to be looking at what is your podcast about, brainstorming. Let me just end. Okay. As well as what is the one thing that is really important is what is your true zone of genius? What is your true gift? Because we're going to be taking that, your true zone of genius, your true gift, and then we're going to be crafting your message, your offering, building your business, and ultimately your podcast around your zone of genius. So you can speak from the heart, because when you speak from the heart, that's when you can really, people will open up to you, and that's when the magic happens. Because when it comes to business, especially iTicket, it's about one thing and one thing only, and that is trust. And that's what we're going to be doing, starting to brainstorm tomorrow. So a very big one is going to be, what is your true zone of genius? What is your true gift? And then once we have identified that, we're going to go to the next step, which is, who is the ideal listener, ideal client avatar? And I will explain to you how to do that. And then at the end of tomorrow, I'm going to be sharing with you my proven 3 steps, easy 3-step blueprint to literally launch your podcast. If you follow just that, you can launch your podcast in 3 easy steps. So tomorrow is going to be a very good one, very nice one. So be there. And yeah, so that's for tomorrow. For Thursday, day 4, we're going to take everything, as you will notice, everything builds from the previous day's content. So on day 3, on day 4, on Thursday, we're going to take our findings, our true zone of genius, our true gift, our true avatar, and then we're going to be building and crafting your Godfather irresistible offer. We're going to build that together. And then we're going to identify what is the number 1 pain point that your podcast and your offer address. And then here's another powerful, game-changing, transformational principle that I've implemented in my business, and I ask all my students to do the same, and that is your quantifiable, measurable end result of your Godfather offer. I'm going to dive into that, explain that to you in detail on Thursday. And plus, I'm very proud to say that on Thursday, I will be having my first and amazing expert talk for you guys, my own coach, Mr. Jay Lee, former pastor from Canada, also is crushing it with sales, is a high 7-figure, low 8-figure closer, and a sales ninja guru. His thing is all about selling without being sleazy and salesy, because he comes from a background of being a pastor. So he sells with a heart, very heart-centered. I mean, he's going to be here for us on Thursday. He's not cheap. His one-on-one program is $75,000 for 3 months and 1 call a week. And he has a waiting list. So I'm very proud that I was able to convince him to come and share some of his valuable knowledge and time with us on Thursday. So make sure you'll be here on Thursday, because that alone is going to be worth the price of entrance times 100. And on day 5, we're going to end things with a bang, so to speak. We're going to be looking at, again, everything builds from on the previous day's content. We're going to be looking at putting it all together and looking at the path to having leads on demand for your business. So we're going to take, again, the content from the findings from day 3, your zone of genius, your gift, day 4, your Godfather offer. And then we're going to be looking, does your ideal audience, your ideal avatar hang out the most? And then we're going to be mapping out your first 5, 10, 20, 100, 1 billion episodes and beyond. Because once you understand the principle It's all the same as far as finding the right people. And we're going to work towards that all week, but especially on Friday. And then putting all together to get leads on demand through your podcast, through your profitable podcast and YouTube channel, even if you have absolutely no audience to start with, just like when I started. And as an extra bonus on Friday, I'm bringing back probably the guy that has been requested the most by previous students of my previous challenges, and that is my good friend Misha Zvigintsov from California. He's a podcast growth expert. He's done over almost 700 episodes, and he has a very valuable program which he teaches how to go into a podcast store. He's going to show you how to go into to become a guest and 50 podcasts in the next 90 days, something like that. So it's going to show you how to really blow up and go into other podcasts where your exact ideal listeners hang out the most. So make sure you're here on Friday, because what Misha has been sharing with us is worth his in gold. I'm actually one of his clients. I'm using what he's saying is absolutely gold. So be there on Friday, because again, and I might have another killer expert for you guys on Wednesday. I'm still in talks with her, and that's going to be my publisher. She's the one that helped me become a 4-time #1 international best-selling author. She's going to share with you how to take your gifts and bring them to life through a book of your own. Again, not confirmed yet, but fingers crossed that she will say yes. She's a very highly sought after publisher, very successful. So I'm talking with her, and I will be able to confirm that with you tomorrow. So this is the overview of the challenge, the menu for the week. I apologize, I should have done that yesterday, but I was too excited yesterday. I didn't do it, but today I just want to start with this. So mark your calendar. You do not want to miss this, because it's going to be a pretty good one. So having said that, now let's move on. So one last call. Any questions from day one? All right, so let's move on. All right, so why is podcasting so powerful for business? Does anyone know? Can anyone, without looking at the on the slides, tell me why is podcasting so powerful for business? Maybe I should have changed my.
Getting to know the person.
Yeah.
Say it again, sorry.
seriously.
You're getting to know the person
That's it. And why is that important?
Because it's a personal touch, I think, and it shows your personality a little bit and who you are.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, business is all about a relationship nurturing process, about building rapport and trust, especially high ticket. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's what podcasting is so powerful. So just to recap here, podcasting allows you to, it's your platform to share your story, display your expertise, and give an opportunity for your exact audience to really get to know you. And in the process, you will be building, you will be having an unmatched, intimate connection with the audience, and while doing so, you'll be building what is truly indispensable for business, and that is rapport and trust and a lasting connection with the exact ideal audience. This is why podcasting is incredibly powerful. And I'm going to be explaining to you more tonight here for me. It's past 7 p.m. here. And for you guys this afternoon. All right. So great answer, Carolyn and Denise. Both of you are spot on. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. So again, as I mentioned that quite a few times, what is business at the core? From what I personally experienced, not only after living and doing business abroad for the last 15, 20 years, but also in the last 3.5, 4 years on my podcast and my journey into podcasting, and that is, business is not a numbers game. Sure, numbers matter, but ultimately, business is a relationship nurturing process, because we do business with people we like, relate, and trust. And podcasting is by far, from my personal experience, the best way to build that trust, that rapport and connection. Let me just add one more person here, okay? To build that trust with them in a way that they can really get to know you, like you, and trust you. And once you build that trust with them, then people really open up to you. There's no need for you to pitch, to sell, to convince, or I like to say in a funny, cheesy way. There's no need to seduce or kidnap someone to do business with them. It's just natural, automatic, organic progression. They will ask, hey, what about you, Denise? What about you, Carolyn? What about you, Mark? What about you, John? What about you, Debra? What do you do? And when you tell them, and they say, oh, wow, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Can you help me? Sure, let's set up a time to talk. That's how I've been using my podcast to build that trust. And once I have the trust, to really naturally take that to the next level. without me asking, by them asking me. So, and this is what I'm going to be showing to you again, because all of that is based on one thing and one thing only: trust. Okay, so now, why is podcasting the best way to connect with your exact ideal audience, prospects, and clients? Again, when someone listens to your podcast, it's for three main reasons. One, sure, they're interested in your topic that you're talking about on your podcast, but also it's because, most importantly, I would say it's because they like you, your personality, your sense of humor, your vision, your values. When someone listens to you, to your podcast, after a few days, few weeks, few months, they will feel like they know you. They will see you as a friend. I'm sure most of you guys already have been podcast listeners, and most of you already have your own podcast, favorite podcast. And with those people, you feel that you know them. They're no longer strangers for you. You view them as friends, as people you know, even though you have never met them yet. That's very important. And also, very important reason is because of that familiarity, they can relate with you. They can resonate with your message. They can identify with you, your message, your story, and see you as one of their own. And that's something that's very important. I'm going to be diving even deeper into that, expanding deeper into that tomorrow and on Thursday and on Friday, because this is the core of what's going to make your podcast successful or not, is how they can relate to you. It's going to be based on building trust. And one of the part of building trust is for them, once you build that, to see you as one of their own. So that is a very powerful reason for that. Most of you know that in today's hyper-competitive business world, especially online, the most valuable currency is attention. Because again, you're always bombarded with TikTok, with Instagram, with YouTube Shorts, with all these ads. Everybody trying to fight for attention. Now, how do you catch someone's attention? And once you caught it, how do you keep it? You keep it by sharing your story from the heart to the people that really resonate with you. And once they do it, when you speak from the heart, the people that really resonate with you, identify with you, relate with you, they will find you and they will listen to it. You don't need the entire world to listen to your message. Even if 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% finds you, that's more than enough to keep you happy for the next 25 lifetimes. So again, the people that really resonate with you, they will find you. And that's the best way to catch someone's attention is, again, by speaking from the heart, sharing your story. That's it. That's the base of it. And also, when someone listens to the radio or TV, if someone still listens to the radio and TV nowadays, it's usually loud. There's a lot of distraction around them. But when someone listens to your podcast and just you and their earbuds with no other distraction, sure, they may be cooking, doing the dishes, going for a walk, driving, whatever, but there's no other distractions. And that gives you unmatched, unparalleled, full attention directly to the person that resonates the most with you, that really connects the most with you, that really matters the most for your business. So attention is the most important currency and the most valuable currency in the world of business nowadays. I'm sure most of you have already noticed that. Now, who is podcasting for? Again, as we all know, facts tell, stories sell. Since the dawn of time, we've all done, shared stories and done business through sharing stories. Who can benefit from a podcast? Any business, both online and offline, whether you're a professional, an entrepreneur, an author, a coach, a thought leader, whatever you are. Because each client, each customer, each person, each deal, each trade, each product, each launch, each book, course, program, whatever you're doing, that's a story. That's a story worth telling and sharing. Whether you're just starting or you're already an established business. As long as you're dealing with people, podcasting will truly not only take your message to the next level, but also connect you to the people that matter the most, and the people that you can help and assist at the highest level. And that's what we're going to be doing together, identifying your true zone of genius from tomorrow, and then connecting that to the person that you can help the most at the highest level. So again, all of you here are established professionals, entrepreneurs. You all have a beautiful, beautiful gift inside of you. You all have transformational skills, and that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. We're going to be brainstorming tomorrow. And podcasting will definitely help you as long as you have a high ticket offer of at least $1,000. Because again, when it comes to high ticket selling, it's about one thing and one thing only, and that is trust. if you're dealing with, say, low ticket, say e-commerce, you can still use podcasts. My background is e-commerce, but it's going to be a different game plan. It's going to be more about brand awareness. But still, you're still going to need to you can still leverage your podcasting to build that trust, to build that relationship, to build that rapport with them. But ultimately, podcasting is for anyone, as long as you're dealing with a person, with a human being, and as long as you have a high ticket offer of at least $1,000. Raise your hand, put in the chat if you already have an offer of at least $1,000, pounds, or euros already in your business. Type it in the chat. Okay, beautiful, beautiful.
Heyman, sorry
Yes.
to interrupt. Could you let Hamish McClay in? He's just trying to get in.
Okay, so let me stop sharing my screen so I can do that.
He's in.
Is in.
He's
I don't
in.
see anyone else not in. Okay, is in. All right.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
Very welcome. Maybe from tomorrow I should learn how to have a co-host without me being kicked out. If anyone knows, I'm all in. All right, let's go back. Okay. Oops, no, that's not the one. Sorry. Wrong screen. Where's my screen? I get distracted for a while. Ah, here. Oh, no, wrong one. Why I'm sharing the wrong screen with you guys? Okay, let me find my screen again. Okay, this is not the one. This is it. Okay, let me go back here. Apologies for that. I get distracted here. I think that's it. Fingers crossed. Yes, that's it. Do you guys see my screen? Okay. So does any one of you, let's hear 2 or 3 people share what is their high ticket offer. Just say it. Don't be shy. Or write it in the chat. But since I cannot see the chat, Debra, if you don't mind just reading it. So let's hear a couple of people about their high ticket offer. And the rest, feel free to just put it in chat and Debra will mention.
Okay, just 1 second.
Who wants to share it with us loud and proud?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Oh, good.
Right, Peter?
All right. So my currently high ticket offer, which isn't going to be high ticket anymore quite soon, is I'm a business coach. So my clients can opt in to actually work with me to fully restructure their business and get ready for scaling up. And that's £24,000 per year, which is roughly, well, exactly £2,000 a month.
And what is the number one benefit they get by opting in, by joining you?
Number one benefit. Well, they would get exactly what I just said. Getting their business structured correctly. Often they are missing completely things which are absolutely critical to the next stage of growth. For example, they don't have specialist sales or marketing functionality, or HR or legal, etc., etc. So simply things they are going to need where they want to grow.
Okay.
They need to have them now, otherwise it's not going to be possible to even get there.
All right.
Because
Thank you.
in order to succeed, you already have to behave on that level.
Cool. Thank you. And we're going to dive deeper into that from tomorrow. Thank you for sharing it. Pamela, you raised your hand. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, I don't have a high level offer because I'm wanting to create a community because I think there are many people that are dealing with problems that I could help, that I don't want to start off with a high level. I may get there later, but I'm going to be doing a monthly community and that's where I feel more comfortable with. And then once I get more known in it, then I will go for the high level. But I want to go large with people that maybe don't have the means, because not everyone does have the means for a high level ticket.
That's a great point. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing it. Last but definitely not least, Ish, you raise your hand. Go ahead.
Hi. So my high ticket offer is basically for the tech departments. I know a lot of tech departments around the world. They want to outsource their services to India, but they are not sure how to start and where to start. So therein I come in, I act like their offshore partner. I help them understand who the right vendor for their IT services would be, and then help them plan the entire transition, right from identifying the vendor to until the operations are live at the vendor's location. So I work with them hand on hand on the cultural transformation, on the process optimization required. Because what happens a lot of times is, if you are dependent on the incumbent vendor only for the transition, there may not be that transparency in the transition that is often required as part of the transition process.
All right, thank you for sharing, my friend. Thank you. Awesome. All right, so we're gonna take a look at all of your offers from tomorrow, and especially on Thursday, when my coach Jay is gonna be in. We're gonna be building your own irresistible Godfather offers. So thank you for sharing. Okay, now let's move on. Let me share with you some actual real life examples of how podcasting can benefit you first personally and then for your business. These are some of the ways it has personally benefited me in my life. I'm going to quickly go over that. Your podcast is going to be an amazing platform for you to share your story, document your journey. In the process, you'll make amazing, great friendships from around the world. Just like most nowadays, I only do business with people I met to my podcast. Like, for example, my publisher, my coach, my copywriter, now Debra, my partner, and this endeavor here, Peter. So all of these people that I met to my podcast. Your podcast is going to be your own country house, your own golf course, seriously, because you can meet so many incredible people to your podcasting. Your podcast, seriously, podcasting has become the new golf. And I'm going to talk to you on that in a moment. So your podcast is going to be your platform that's going to open the doors for you and get you access to people you normally wouldn't be able to. Let's say you just saw someone you just saw on TV or a famous author or an expert, and if you were to cold message him on LinkedIn or wherever, good luck. They will not even respond to you unless you yourself are a high-level celebrity. But what if you were to just reach out and, hey, Peter, Debra, Pamela, my name is Payman Lorenzo. I'm the host of the Leaders Web podcast. I just saw your interview on TV. I just read your book. I just saw your piece on YouTube, and I love what you're doing. And I would be honored to have you come share your story on my podcast. They will be responding faster, even before you even finish sending the message. They will say, "Oh, absolutely, just say when." And Debra at a similar case just not long ago, she reached out to high level. You want to share that with us, Debra, with that powerful law executive in London?
Oh, my word. So this person advises to the UN, and Payman may go into something called the top Dream 100 list, which I thoroughly recommend tuning into that one. So I had this dream client that I wanted to get into. There's no way that they would have ever taken a meeting from me if I'd gone through the normal channels. I thought, right, well-crafted podcast message that Payman teaches you what to say, how to say it. So you haven't even got to think, well, how am I going to do this? I literally lifted Payman's script that he did. And don't forget, I've been in business development for years, but I thought, no, learn from the master. Within less than 5 seconds, they came back and they said, literally, I pinged it and they came back and said, so when is it? When do you want me on your show?
Wow.
Unbelievable. I mean, it was just like, why have I never done this before?
Exactly. Wow. I didn't know they responded that fast. I remember you mentioned it to me and on the Facebook group, but I didn't know they responded that fast. Wow.
Oh God, no, literally it pinged. It was like a tennis match at Wimbledon. I pinged it over the net and they pinged it straight back.
Amazing. See, real life example of how this works, guys. Not just theory. I've done it. I've been doing it. My alumni, like Debra, are doing it, and you will be doing it soon too. So another massive advantage of the podcast is because it's going to allow you to learn about yourself. And I can't tell you how many times by re-listening to some of my own episode before I release them, I caught myself saying, wait, where is that coming from? Did I really say that? Sometimes when I speak to people, I get in a zone. It's almost like the information is being channeled through me. I see things that I normally do not say in normal interaction with people. And you learn so much about yourself that way. As I mentioned yesterday, the greatest blessing podcast blessed me with, beyond the financials, for which I'm tremendously grateful, is that it allowed me to kill my shyness. And that allowed me to really unlock myself and become the person I was meant to be. So again, I just mentioned overcoming your fear of shyness and fear of public speaking. So again, podcasting will transform your lives. Please mute yourselves if you're not speaking. Thank you. And podcasting also will drastically improve your communication and listening skills. If you were to go back on my YouTube channel, I have 345 episodes. If you look at the first few episodes, they're not good, but I leave them on purpose so people can see the growth. People can see the progression and all that. And in the process, I've become a much better communicator. I'm much better at listening to people. One of the most common compliments I've been receiving from my guests is that, unlike other hosts, I don't interrupt my guests when they speak. One thing I really hate about podcasts when I listen to some very interesting topics, interesting guests, is the host always cuts in. No, the best podcasters are let the other finish, and then you say your piece. And that's an incredible skill that not only for your podcast, but also for your business, also for your personal life, your relationships, your friendships, your family, and all that. That's why God gave us 2 ears. We need to listen twice as much as we need to speak. We have one mouth. That's why. So again, all of that is going to make you a much more interesting person to talk to, because you're going to be speaking with so many incredible people from around the world. My podcast has become my own Harvard or Oxford, so to speak, PhD program, because I get to speak every day with incredible experts from all over the world and in all kinds of fields, learning about things I thought I knew, but also learning about things I didn't even know existed. Podcasting also will allow you to connect at a much deeper level with anyone you talk to, not just on your podcast, but also in your real life and with your family, your friends, your relationship, people around you. Because again, once you become a better communicator, better at listening, you will be able to connect at a much deeper level with people. And if you put all of these together, they're going to make you a much more powerful and charismatic speaker and leader. Last but definitely not least, podcasting is very fun. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't have started. When I started my podcast, because I was bored, and I wouldn't have continued it for 3.5 years. I definitely would have continued it for a year without making a penny if it wasn't fun. I'm having a ball. I love listening to incredible people share their stories and get to know and make amazing connections around the world. And definitely one of the biggest advantage of podcasting for you personally is that it's going to allow you to find your voice, your purpose, your passion, your reason of being here, as it's done for me. So these are some of the most important benefits for you personally. And I would argue that the personal benefits of a podcast are much more valuable than the benefits for your business, as I will share with you in a moment. Now, any questions, any comment about the benefits of podcasting for you personally? Have you encountered any of those yourself? Are you struggling with any of these? Say, for example, shyness, fear of public speaking, unable to connect deeply with people, unable to really listen effectively, unable to not being an interesting person to talk to. Have you struggled, or are you struggling with any of that currently yourself? Don't be shy. We're all among friends here. I'd like at least 1 or 2 people to chip in.
Payment. I know my subject. I've been doing it for 30 odd years. My problem when I start talking, and I do lecture.
We
Oh,
lost you.
Altair?
We lost you, Altair.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Okay, we'll come back to in a moment. Anyone else wants to share with us their feedback?
Hamish has his hand up.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Hi, well, I started mine 6 weeks ago, and
Awesome.
I never wanted to be in front of the camera. I never wanted to talk or share, but I'm having so much fun. I was chatting to somebody in Australia this morning, and I'm rattling on about this and that and my stories, my experiences. I'm sharing personal stuff about my spirituality and stuff that I wouldn't tell most people.
Yes.
And I'm having the best fun I've ever had, and it is just brilliant. And as you said, I haven't yet contacted somebody and said, "Hi, will you be on my podcast?" Yet I've just reached out other ways, but I'm going to start that tomorrow because why not?
Absolutely.
And
Why not?
if they say no, it'll be the next person. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and why not? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why
I
not?
want to say one thing. Sorry for jumping in. There's another aspect to it, which is quite a few people would have a problem to even comprehend the setup, which is you are in your house at home talking to a phone or a camera or whatever. It's completely mind-boggling. So if you don't have a borderline personality disorder, it's definitely something what comes unimaginable to you.
Yes.
So it was definitely my case where I grew up on stage as a musician. So I know how to handle big crowds of people. But having this, like really sitting in my house and talking to a phone is like completely ridiculous, even as an idea. No, not to mention like really doing this and expecting something to come out of it. It's like I couldn't really wrap my head around this for 3 years.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I was the same. As you guys know, I was incredibly painfully shy. And what really allowed me to overcome that and big part has been my podcast. All right, now let's
And Skifty here. I mean,
yes. Go ahead.
can I just say that I don't know how to start. That's why I'm here and what kind of equipment I may need. So I'm quite a novice and I'm hoping this will provide the opportunity
Yes.
for me to make my message known, because I believe I have a lot to give, but it's just the vehicle in
Yes.
terms of making it known. I can do it on one-to-one, even that is just on a personal level. And I'm hoping this will provide that vehicle for me.
Absolutely. We all have been blessed with beautiful gifts, especially someone like you with a name like you. You've been blessed with many gifts, and I know of that. And tomorrow I'm going to be sharing exactly how to do that, how to take care of all of the tech side of launching a podcast. So yes, absolutely. Okay, last one. Lauren, you raised your hand. Go ahead.
Yes, I was going to say I used to be really shy when I was young, and in my 20s I started doing direct sales.
Oh, wow.
And I used to do party plan. But like I think Debra said, when I used to do it, I used to have an alter ego that I used to switch on when I went to do it and switch off again when I came home. But recently, since I've started talking about my business and what I want to do, I've had a few people say to me they feel so much passion in me that they know I'm going to succeed. And so that's why I think talking and a podcast is going to be a good thing for me to do, because it'll get my voice out there. But I don't know how to find the people that need me, so that's why I'm here.
Well, you're in the right place, my friend. Sweat gonna be sharing with you for the rest of the week. So you're in the right place.
And I want to say thank you to you, Lorenzo, as well.
I don't mind. Thank you for sharing it. From one former shy person to another, you get this. All right, now let's take a look at some of the powerful transformational benefits of podcasting for your business. As I mentioned before, it's a phenomenal way to attract and connect you with the exact ideal clients and audience. I'm going to dive deeper, expand on that tomorrow and the rest of the week. It's a wonderful platform for you to by sharing your story to give your audience an opportunity to get to know you, and in the process building a very intimate connection with your audience. Here's a powerful one. I'm going to expand on that in the next few slides. Some of your very best clients will be your podcast listeners. For me, I can say without hesitation that 100% of my clients, 100%, have come from my podcast, from my tiny, weeny little podcast. Don't sleep on that, guys. Because again, business, especially iTicket, it's about one thing and one thing only. Starts with a T, ends with a T, 5 letters. Can anyone guess?
Trust.
Thank you. You're the only one not sleeping. I'm joking. No, you're right. You're right. No, seriously, it's all about trust, guys. And podcasting is the best way to build that trust.
Mm.
Your podcast is going to be a phenomenal, not only lead generation machine, but also a lead education machine, because by you sharing your story, you will be displaying your expertise. You will be educating your audience about why they should trust you, why they should listen to you. Because again, by you sharing your story, speaking from the heart, they will resonate with you at a much higher level as a man-to-man, man-to-woman, woman-to-woman level, which is much deeper than, hey, just a business transaction. Your podcast is going to allow you to, you can leverage your podcast for endless content. Nowadays, with all those, AI-driven platform or tools such as the one I've been using to make my videos, Opus.pro. You just plug in the full link of your YouTube channel, of your YouTube video, sorry. You select the length of the highlights you want. You put in the keywords that are relevant to your video, and it's going to spit for you in 20 minutes, literally 20 short videos, anywhere between 30 seconds to 3 minutes, with those beautiful captions in the middle. Something I used to do it myself. To do just one would take me 2 hours. Now, just upload your video, just copy paste your link, set and forget. Within 20 minutes, you have a bunch of videos. The videos I've been posting the last few days have all been done by that little tool. But you can also leverage your podcast for shorts, highlights, or quotes, and so on and so forth, that you can use for your Instagram, for your LinkedIn, for your Facebook, for your YouTube channel, for anything you can, for your email campaigns, and so on and so forth. Here's a big one, probably one of my favorites. Your podcast is going to elevate you and position you as not only the expert, the leader and authority in your field, but most importantly, as their expert, their leader, their authority. Because when someone listens to your podcast, they will see you as not only as someone they relate with, but also as a friend, as someone they like and trust. And by default, you will become the go-to person, the go-to guy or girl. You will become the go-to expert, leader, and authority. That to me is invaluable for business, because again, the name of the game in business nowadays is all about, I call it the rules of the 3Ds: differentiation, differentiation, differentiation. How can you set yourself apart? So again, that's very powerful. I mentioned that before. Your podcast is amazing for networking. Podcasting is the new golf. Before, it used to be, let's go play a round of golf, a round of tennis or football, or let's hang out at the country club. Now it's, hey, let's chat on my podcast. I can't tell you how many multi-million, multi-billion-dollar businesses I've started as a result of two people connecting on a podcast, getting to know each other, and then starting the relationship that way. As I mentioned to you earlier, nowadays, I only do business with people I met through my podcast. My publisher, she was a guest on my podcast. She allowed me to become, not only she became an alumni of my academy, but also we've done 4 books together. All of them reached the rank of #1 international bestselling on the first day. This is the last one, which was released at the end of January to celebrate 3 years anniversary and 300 episodes of my podcast. My coach, he was a guest on my podcast. My partners, like right now, Debra, Peter, Angela, John Donnelly, and all those people. So again, podcasting will really open up the world to you, because through a podcast, you will be able to vet people. By knowing them personally, you will know whether you can really trust them. And as we know, business is all about trust. And of course, podcasting is a phenomenal launching pad for much bigger things. As I mentioned, my tiny little YouTube channel allowed me to become a 4-time #1 international bestselling author. I've spoken on multiple events, and now I've been invited to do a TEDx talk here in Da Nang, Vietnam. I don't know if my coach, Paul, is here today. He was here yesterday. He's the one coaching me for my public speaking. I'm going to be doing a talk on that, a TEDx talk on August 11th. So again, and after that, who knows? The sky, I was about to say the sky is the limit, but that's not true. The sky is not the limit, because the sky starts right here. And if the sky were to start right here, that's a very low limit. The real limit is what's here. So there's no limit. Maybe, who knows, radio, TV, conferences, actually with my publisher. If she comes tomorrow, we're already planning on hosting a conference in the US next year, or in Mexico. And maybe, who knows, in the next few months, me and Debra and Peter, we can host a live event in London in the next few months. Who knows? Again, there's no limit.
Yeah.
And if you have any ambition of becoming a public speaker, of being hired as a highly sought speaker, doing lectures at universities, your best CV, your best credentials, just send them your podcast. Hey, here's my podcast. Have a look at how I am. How my application for the TEDx talk has been just me sending my YouTube channel to Paul, and he sent it to the committee, selection committee, to just look at it and say, wow, yes. Again, because you want to give people a glimpse of what you can do. If you want to become a coach, say a corporate coach, when I work with corporations, the best thing you can do is just send them your podcast, send them your YouTube channel so they can see you in action, speaking on a video. Even better if you have videos of you speaking publicly. I've been asked to do some public speaking here at events for entrepreneurs. Again, all of these came to me as a result of this, of my podcast. So podcast is an incredible, phenomenal, powerful launching pad for much, much bigger things. Also, last but definitely not least, it's going to drastically reduce the sales cycle of whatever you're selling. The more expensive the product or service you're selling, the longer the sales cycle. And that's going to drastically reduce it from months, even years, to weeks. Because again, through a podcast, you get to know people, to trust them, to see who's that person as a man, as a woman, as a human being. Because again, business happens first and foremost as a person-to-person level, not as a business-to-business. Does that make sense, guys? Do you see the tremendous power of podcasting for both yourself as a human being, as a man and a woman, and also for your business? And when you put them together, you can really unlock with what we're going to do tomorrow to identify your zone of genius. Is going to really catapult you to becoming the person you're meant to be. So this is why podcasting, when done the right way, is completely, totally transformational. It completely changed my life. The way I'm speaking now with passion from the heart, I was never able to do that 5-6 years ago. That's why the people that know me from before, when they see me, they ask me, hey, what happened to you? Did you make a pact with the devil? I said, no, I found my purpose, my voice, my passion. And by that, I became the person I was meant to be. Just like I said, the greatest gift podcasting blessed me with, again, I'm incredibly grateful for the financial blessings, but the greatest gift was it allowing me to become the person I was meant to be, allowing me to overcome my shyness. That is invaluable. You know, there's a saying that says the $1 million, the £1 million, whatever is your goal, that's not the ultimate reward. The ultimate reward is the person you become, the skills you learn in the process, the connections you make, the experiences you accumulate, the adventures you enjoy, because that is what life is about. And that's something no one can take away from you. So again, enough of me being overly passionate here. Let's move on. Any comments, any questions about the benefit of podcasting for business? Or if you can relate with any of that?
Yes, no. Good.
Move on. All right.
Okay, can I just make a point here?
Please.
That I think my wonderful neighbor John Turner is here, so thanks, big shout out to John. So we get talking randomly outside Asda while he's going in to get a chicken for his Sunday lunch, as you do. And hey ho, we start talking about podcasting, and within literally 2 hours, John had kindly contacted the editor of Blog Preston, very well respected journal in and around the Preston area. And then lo and behold, I'm having a full-blown interview with the head journalist tomorrow, all about Sphere of Being, the podcast, and how it can help people who care for others. So how on earth would I have had anything, unless it had been through that vehicle, that would have been newsworthy enough for me to get a journalist from the press wanting me to have an interview with them? I didn't even contact them. So it really, really does work.
Wow. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. That's inspiring. Thank you. I see that Vaida, you raised your hand. Go ahead, my friend.
Hello, everyone. I write down the question. What about fear if you are not native English speaker and afraid just to do mistakes on your podcast because
Great
it's live?
question. English is my third language. It's okay. It's okay. If you have an, and I told that to many people before, if you have an accent, if you're not comfortable with the way you speak, it's okay. Don't suppress it, because that's part of your personality. People want to see who's Vaida at the core, who's Mark, John, Debra, whatever. It's okay. It's part of your personality. Do not suppress it, because if you suppress it, You're not going to be authentic.
Wow.
It's all about being
Mm.
authentic. Does it make
Thank you.
sense?
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
That's good.
All right. Shall we move on?
Yes.
All right,
Mm.
cool. So again, as I mentioned many times already, through your podcast, you'll be able to have a much deeper connection with your audience, allowing them to get to know you as a person. And after that, once you build that trust, that rapport, they will ask you, guaranteed, as long as you bring the right people on your podcast that I will be sharing with you guys in the next few days. It's human nature. They will ask you, so what about you? What do you do? And when you answer, oh, I do X for Y. Wow, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Can you help me? Sure, let's set up a time to talk. Very natural. There's no need to sell, to pitch, to convince, as I like to say in a funny, cheesy way. There's no need to seduce or kidnap someone. It's a natural, automatic, organic progression. That's what podcasting will do for you, and it's done for me and for many of my students. Do you guys know this guy? Russell Brunson, multi-billion-dollar billionaire and also co-founder of ClickFunnels. Here's a powerful quote. He said, music and radio listeners make on average of $60,000 a year, while podcast listeners make on average $100,000 a year, which is double. Can you guys guess why that is? Let's hear a couple of people. Who wants to
They
chip
learn
in?
from the interviews. They put the lessons from into action.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great answer. Yes, thank you, Joseph. Anyone else?
Yeah, because the people adapt and they connect with you, and so therefore there's more meaning in it. If you're just listening to radio, it's not the same thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, Pamela, you're absolutely right. Go ahead, Mark. Mark Overton.
Yeah, hi. I think it's probably quite similar than what's just been said, but the fact that like if people are going about their work, let's say they were doing labor, for example, they could have a radio on in the background, they're just listening to music subconsciously. And if they're listening to a podcast, they don't actually realize it, but all that information is going in. So just on that basis alone, they're just increasing their productivity in terms of learning.
Absolutely. You're spot on, my friend. Last, let's take my good friend DG. Go ahead, brother. Unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself. Can't hear you. Oh, check your connection. Okay, let me see if I can unmute you. I can't. It's on your end. Okay, we'll get back to you in a moment. Okay. Yes. So the reason for that is very simple. The people that listen to podcasts, they understand the value of self-development. They understand the value of investing in themselves because they have clarity. They know exactly what they want. And as a result of that, they're successful. They have the means to invest in themselves. That's the main reason. Because again, the people that can, nothing wrong with radio. I love listening to music. But when you listen to podcasts, you feed your mind, you learn from the best, and you just keep on growing, keep on expanding your horizon, seeing what's possible that's going to inspire you. And these people understand the value of self-investment. That's very powerful. And as a result of that, your podcast listeners will be some of your very best clients. Because again, the people that listen to your podcast, they have this connection with you. They have this rapport, this trust. They feel that they know you. They can identify with you. They can relate with you. They can resonate with you. And as a result of that, they will be much more likely to reach out to you as opposed to you chasing after them. As I said earlier, 100% of my clients have come from my tiny little podcast. Again, podcasting is incredibly powerful because, again, it's all about building that bridge, that gap, building that connection, that rapport, and that trust. And as we all know, business, especially iTicket, is about one thing and one thing only: trust. So, what time is it? Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Okay, perfect. All right, cool. Let's see. DG. Okay, DG, go ahead, brother. Can you speak now? Oh, DG, let me add him in. Okay. DG, are you here?
Is it better now?
Yes,
I'm
we
joining.
can hear you now. Go ahead, brother.
All right, thank you very much. I guess just to add to what you've said, podcast creates a lot of intimate connections, and people get to learn more from you once they are well connected with you. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I mentioned earlier, is because the people that consume podcasts, they understand the value of self-investment and they have the means to invest in themselves. So that's why they will be much more likely to buy from you as opposed to someone who doesn't listen to podcasts, because they may not see or understand the value of self-investment. That's why. All right. So we've completed day 2 today. Any question about what I covered so far for today, sorry. Let's hear some questions. Amish, go ahead, brother.
I will unmute myself. My apologies on the timing. And what I just wanted to actually sort of say to sort of reinforce what Deborah was saying, I do a lot of work in, I'm a conveyancing collaborator, which is all to do with people buying, selling houses. And what I was doing, I met somebody through LinkedIn and got speaking to them by suggesting to them they could join my podcast. And this particular sort of person works with the Earl of Lytton. And the Earl of Lytton is trying to big up an awful lot of audience, because the dangers, what happened is a strange thing. The Building Safety Act of 2022 has trapped an awful lot of people in their flats, which are in a dangerous condition. And then, if you like, the developers are refusing to actually make them safe. And so basically somebody like that wants to get their voice out there to get it heard. And so what actually happened, I've spoken to sort of Stephen, so he's coming on my initial podcast tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. But he has said after that first one, he would like to bring the Earl of Lytton along, who is very, very outspoken in the House of Lords relative to this safety aspect. Now, how does that help me? Well, using that particular sort of name itself, just itself, is bound to engage with an awful lot of people who are involved with property. So all of a sudden, there's this great number of additional, I mean, we go out with quite a significant audience. Between what we do, there's about 20,000, the potential audience is about 20,000. We're bringing the Earl of Lytton onto it. That's going to be, you tell me, I don't know, I have a clue, but a lot of people.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely right. It's all about sharing your voice, making your voice heard, and sharing your gifts. Absolutely. Pamela, you raise your hand. Go ahead, my friend.
Yep. I'm volunteering for the Olympic team, a British team that's out here in France. So I'm not going to be here tomorrow and Thursday. So how do I get the replay and how do I do the homework so I don't miss anything?
Absolutely. Great question. Make sure you're inside the Facebook group. Make sure you're connected with me. So are we connected? Are you on the Facebook group?
Yeah.
Okay. So keep an eye. Just maybe an hour from now, I'll be posting the replay of this, of tonight's call, as well as the slide that go with it. So have a look and I'll do the same every day. And watch the video, especially tomorrow is going to be a very big day. The rest of the week is going to be all transformational content, because that's going to be the meat and potato, identifying your zone of genius, identifying your gifts, crafting your Godfather offer, and going and getting the right people onto your podcast. So make sure you catch all 3. So you said you cannot make it tomorrow and on Thursday. Can you make it on Friday?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So absolutely. Okay. So the next 2 days you won't be able to make it, just catch the replays on Facebook. Anyone else, all of you guys, make sure we are connected on the Facebook group. Make sure that you are on the Facebook group. If you're not, let me know or let Debra know and we'll add you. Okay. So
where do we get the homework?
Homework, I'm getting to this. One second, I haven't done. Okay. So here's a sneak peek about tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be we're going to brainstorm. We're going to do the work tomorrow together. We're going to be brainstorming and launching your podcast live. So what that's going to mean is that I'm going to show you how to launch your podcast in 3 easy steps. I'm going to be sharing with you as a gift my proven blueprint to launch a podcast in 3 easy steps. And that's exactly what I'm teaching inside my private Profitable Podcast Academy. But I'm going to be sharing that summary of that as a gift for you guys tomorrow. So, and then we're going to be brainstorming as to what is your podcast going to be about. We're going to brainstorm to identify what is your true zone of genius and your true gift. And then who's your ideal client avatar. We're going to do all of that together tomorrow. And that's going to be part of the homework. So the homework for today, there's no such homework for today. The only homework I have is make sure that you have a clear idea to prepare you for tomorrow. What is it that you want your podcast to be about? That's going to be the thing. What is your number one purpose, objective? What is the number one pain point that you can solve, and for who? The more specific, the better. Because again, the name of the game is clarity. We don't want generic answers like I want to help people get fit. I want to help people get happy. That's a beautiful, commendable, objective, but it's very vague. Instead, you want to be very specific, and we're gonna work on that tomorrow. And on Thursday, we're gonna craft your own offer live. And I'm really proud to be able to bring my coach, and he's gonna really blow your minds away, because this guy knows exactly, he's spitting fire. So yeah, so that's your homework, so to speak. Brainstorm in advance. What is the number one pain point that you want to address through your podcast? And again, your pain point is going to be built around what is your true zone of genius? What is your true gift? Not about something that is the most profitable or the most trendy or sexiest trend. No, sure, you can make money that way, but it's not going to be sustainable. You're not going to be authentic. What's going to be authentic is you sharing your story about things that you've overcome. And to give you an overview of tomorrow, I'm going to say just one sentence: your crap is your gold. I'm going to leave it at that. All the challenges, all the heartbreaks, trauma, tragedy, pain, hurt, financial struggles, trauma, disease, all of that you've overcome in your life. These are your greatest gifts, because now you can turn those and build those into beautiful, impactful, transformational businesses, and your podcast around it. Your podcast is going to be the vehicle that's going to help you get your message to the person that needs it the most. All right, any questions about anything we've done so far today? Let's take a few more questions before we call it a day. Let me stop sharing my screen and catch the questions. So many comments here. Okay. Very welcome, everyone. Very welcome. Very welcome. Thank you, guys. Okay. Any questions? Come on, don't be shy. We're all among friends here. Also, because I don't want to leave the call too early. I'm having so much fun.
Can I just ask how long after when this meeting finishes, how long after that will the recording actually appear?
Within an hour.
Within an hour. Great stuff. That's smashing. Thank you indeed.
Very welcome. Any other question, comments, compliments? Don't be shy, guys. Especially compliments about my amazing shiny hair. Come on.
Payman, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
It's Bernadette speaking.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I can't find where to raise my hand on my screen, so I've been holding my hand up.
Okay, you see there's a heart that says react. That's okay. Go ahead. You've raised your hand. Go ahead.
My question is, what is the optimum time for a podcast?
That's a great question. That really, there's no black or white answer. It's really going to depend on what is your purpose, your objective, what do you want to achieve through your podcast, what is the number one pain point you're solving, and for who. And all of these questions, we're going to expand on those tomorrow and on the rest of the week. But honestly, there are podcasts that are less than 5 minutes, such as the Frank Kern podcast. Have you guys heard of Frank Kern? One of the most amazing, legendary marketer, one of the first guy that did a $1 million launch in 24 hours back in 2004, 2005. His podcast is literally 3 to 4 minutes each day and is wildly successful. And then you have on the other end of the spectrum, you have the Joe Rogan Experience, which is 4 hours. And then in the middle, you have my little podcast, which is about an hour. My podcast used to be an hour and a half, 2 hours. Now it's about an hour. So again, there's no right or wrong answer. It's going to
And
depend
should
on you.
And
Go
should
ahead.
you always have a guest, or can you just talk to yourself and to your audience?
And wow, I love the questions you're asking. It really again depends on you. But what I've done and what I suggest is, because we're building a podcast for business, what I'm doing is basically teaching you how to, once you've identified your zone of genius and identified your client, ideal client avatar, by simply reaching out to them, inviting them on your podcast to interview them. Basically, we're going to be interviewing our prospects. So, and I'm going to be sharing with you how and why this is incredibly powerful for the next few days. But again, it's your call. I've had other people that have done a mix of, if they do 5 podcast episodes a week, Monday to Friday, they can do, say, 3 interviews. One episode going to be just themselves talking, sharing the knowledge, updates, whatever announcement, and then one they can be bringing an expert, and you can use whatever mix of those that you want, so that it can provide the highest value for your audience. Does that answer your question, Bernadette?
Yes, very much. Thank you.
Very welcome.
And thank you for today. Thank you. I won't be
Pleasure.
here tomorrow, but I'll listen to the repeat.
Yes, please. I'll see you on Thursday then.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, guys? Hamish, yes, go ahead.
Just a quick one here. I use my podcasts on LinkedIn, and they have a policy. They like it to be no longer than about 20 minutes, between 15 and 20 minutes tops. So that's what we do on a regular basis. It's great because it's swift, and you can actually have interesting sort of conversations for that sort of 20 minutes. But it's a perfectly reasonable way to actually sort of do it. And of course, it goes out to your audience on LinkedIn and or Facebook and a few others besides, if you wish.
Yes. Another thing you can do to bypass that, you can record your videos on Zoom, for example, and simply upload the link onto your LinkedIn. So this way, even if it's beyond 20 minutes, because I do it all the time, my podcast, my lives are about an hour, and I have no issue with just sharing the link from YouTube. Does it answer your question?
I wanted to ask, what was the name of that app that you said you use to make your video shorts?
Say that again, sorry?
You've got an app that you use to make your shorts from your long form videos. What was the name of that? Please?
Right here, opus.pro. It's about $10-15 a year. Sorry, a month. I paid for 1 year is $115. It's really worth it. They also have a free version. Give it a try. It's really fun. Hamish Neven, go ahead. Go ahead, my friend. You raise your hand?
Yeah, I just asked that question. I'm grand, thank you.
Okay, good. No worries. Carolyn.
I would really just like to thank you. And also for your generosity for passing on all this amazing knowledge to us all.
Pleasure's all mine. This is what I love doing. This is my motto for my podcast, for everything I do. The first question I ask with anyone I work with is, how can I help you shine brighter than you're currently shining? How can I help you win? Because my motto is helping good people with beautiful hearts to win by helping them identify the zone of genius and then share them loud and proud around them and around the world. So if your story can inspire just one person, then that to me is a success. Your story inspires one person, and then Debra's story inspires another, Marika, Gifty, all of us story inspires one person, then together we can collectively create a ripple effect that's going to create a better world together, a more positive world. This is my ultimate vision, my ultimate dream. And God knows that right now our world needs that more than ever, to create a more positive world, a world that we're all united, not divided. That's my ultimate vision, my ultimate goal.
That's good.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank
More
you.
questions? And thank you for the compliment. I love that. I graciously, and gratefully
Gratefully received.
Michael, go ahead, brother.
Hi, Payman. Thank you very much for this. I've got a question about ability. So technical ability And I know you said you've left your initial YouTube videos up because there are errors in there and you'd like to see the progression. But if I'm setting myself up as potentially a client's business coach, somebody who's going to give them advice about how to improve, I'm concerned about my lack of technical ability and about coming across like a bit of a klutz, because really my first stab at this is going to be laden with errors, I fear.
That's a legitimate concern, but rest assured, one of the things that I teach inside my academy, and I tell all my students, and Debra can attest to that, is do not try to be perfect, because if you try to be perfect, you will lose people. If you're perfect with perfect teeth, perfect hair, perfect $1 million Hollywood city behind you, you will lose people. If you have, say, a child crying and coming, bring them on your lap. If you have a dog or a cat, bring them on, because that's going to make it more relatable. Sure, there's some basics that you need to do to ensure that the quality is respectable. And one thing I will tell you, people will put up with not the best video, but they will absolutely not tolerate lousy sound. So make sure you get the best microphone you can afford. And the good news is a great starting microphone, you can have it for less than $100, which is like what, 70 pounds or something like that on Amazon or your local electronic stores. This one is the one I bought last year in an electronic store in Malaysia. I paid $80 for it, and the quality is pretty good. And plus, it isolates, surrounding noise. So you can be playing a music and a guitar and a band beside me, but you will not be able to hear it. All of that for $80. And I'm going to be sharing tomorrow when I be showing how to launch a podcast. The first microphone I started with, which I bought it for $63 on Amazon. I'm going to be sharing all of that with you guys tomorrow. So to answer your question, in short, as long as you have the best sound quality, you don't need to have the best video quality.
Yeah.
But as long as you have a recent computer, you already have all the tech elements that you need to get going with a video podcast, even for your business. Because I've been using my podcast for business. I don't have any of the sexy, whistle and bells with the intro, the music that plays at the start and all that. I don't have that, because for me, it's not about that. It's about the message. I jump straight into the meat and potato. There's no commercials. There's no ads. It's straight to the point. And I hate those kind of videos. We just always, skip those. So don't worry about that. Michael, the most important thing is get your voice out there. Share your gifts.
Brilliant.
It's not about the tech side, it's about the content. As long as the only thing that people have, it's a non-negotiable, you cannot afford to have a lousy sound. That's the only thing. And the good news is you can get a very good microphone, starting microphone for less than $100 on Amazon or your local electronic stores. Mark,
would you,
1 second.
Skifty here, just following on from Michael's question, would you be happy to recommend certain, basic equipment that we could start with? Please?
All of that tomorrow. You're skipping too fast. That's going to be tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes. Make
Thank
sure
you.
you get tomorrow.
I will be.
Awesome. Mark, you raise your hand, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. It was a quick one just about, I think I mentioned yesterday, like I feel I'm at that beginning point in terms of not having a current audience or just getting started. So when I first thought about podcasting, I thought quite a sort of smart way to go about things initially would be to focus more on guest postcard or get myself onto existing podcasts that have a big audience, just to begin that process. So I was just wondering what your thoughts are on that, or whether it all just kind of becomes intertwined anyway.
Great question. Let me answer first with the latter part of your question. How to go on a podcast tour and get into 50 podcasts, and then like in the next 100 days. Make sure you come here on Friday, because that's what Misha's presentation is going to be about. He's an expert on that. Now, the first part of your question, which is, what if I don't have an audience? Well, guess what? This is the whole premise of this challenge and in my academy, how to get leads on demand, even if you have no audience to start with, without spamming, without cold calling, and no ad spend. Because when I started, I was completely broke. I had nobody, But that didn't stop me from getting 6 clients in the first weekend, and then 60 clients in the next 10 months with a YouTube channel of less than 200 subscribers. Because again, why? I don't care about the numbers. For me, it's not about the numbers, but about the connection, the trust. We use the podcast to build trust, to share your story, speaking from the heart, so you can build rapport and build trust. And that's something I'm going to be sharing with you over the next 3 days, how to do that, and much deeper inside my academy, but that's a different story. So you can start even within a week from now, how to implement all of that, even if absolutely nobody, maybe only your spouse, your mother, your cat as a subscriber, that's enough. As long as you have clarity as to what is the number one pain point you're solving and for who, then once you've identified that person, we identify where is that person hanging out the most, and we just put our message in front of them. We simply invite our prospect on the podcast. That's why you don't need an audience. Because if you were to wait until you have an audience big enough to make enough money to even cover your base, unless you're a celebrity, unless you have already a massive audience, or unless you already are a renowned world-class expert, good luck. It's going to take you 5 to 10 years realistically to build that kind of audience, especially with all these YouTube algorithm updates that kills all of the reach all the time. Good luck. It's not going to happen. But the way we do podcasting profitably. We do it smartly, effectively. And for that, you don't need an audience. And I can swear to you, because this is what I was. And even today, go on my YouTube channel, Leaders with a Heart. And if you guys, here's a small ask. If you found value so far, please subscribe to my channel, Leaders with a Heart. You will see I have very little subscribers, 1,377, 79 subscribers. My channel is called Leaders with the Heart on YouTube. Let me find the link for you guys. Again, it's not about the numbers, my friend. Okay, where's my channel? Where's my channel? Oops. Okay, let me share the link here with you. Here. I would appreciate a like, a subscribe, and have some fun. Listen to some of my podcast episodes. I have 345, 44 episodes, all of them incredibly inspiring, empowering, and goosebump inducing stories. I have an entire library of that I started playlist. One of them is with Debra. We have 7 episodes together. If you want to know Debra inside out, even deeper than maybe she knows herself and people around the family knows her, that's a place to go. And
That has been quite a challenge to get her off the mic, huh?
That's it.
7 episodes.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Russell.
See, I'm not the only one making that mistake. See, thank you. High five, Debra. Anyways, does that answer your question, Mark?
Absolutely. Yes, it does.
You know, one thing you guys, very welcome. One thing you guys will notice about me, I'm the king of tangents. You ask me a question, I go all around. I go around the world in what, a 90 seconds and come back, and I answer your question. That's me, because I'm passionate. I speak from the heart. All right, any more questions?
Yes, Lorraine's got one.
Huh? Who?
Lorraine.
Oh,
me. Sorry. Yeah, I was just thinking about what Debbie said about having 2 different podcasts. That's something I've got my eye on as well. Is it better to link them in some way, or to have them as 2 distinct things?
Why do you want to start 2 podcasts at the same time?
Because I do life coaching for people, but I'm aiming at doing equine assisted learning. So I want to talk about the way horses help people as well, but it's a different sector of the same thing.
Couldn't you incorporate them together and make like one section and you interviewing and one section you doing whatever you need to do on the other podcast? Because let me tell you, running a podcast is fun, but it's very time consuming, especially when
I had a feeling about that. Yeah. Okay.
Also, so another reason is I wouldn't want you to get distracted, because the more you start, that's another layer of distraction.
Yeah.
I would really focus on the one that's gonna bring you leads, that's gonna pay your bills and allow you to grow.
Okay, so we start with the people, we work with the horses when I can afford the horses.
Absolutely. You got this. You got this.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. One person has been very quiet today is the queen of the smoothies. Marika, what's up with you today?
Hey!
You haven't had any smoothies today?
I had it this morning. I had my smoothie this morning. It was beautiful. Yeah, no, I've been very quiet because I'm taking it all in. I'm making my notes. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do. I just don't know how I'm gonna do it.
You're in the right place.
Yeah.
Just surrender and trust the process.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing, like surrendering.
And trust me, that's all you need.
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna try and watch all the rest of
Within
the
reason, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm even leaving early tomorrow so I can get to where I need to be in Cornwall so I can sit down and watch the hour or the two.
Listen, guys, I'm having a blast with you guys, but do you have any more questions? I gotta run. I'm starving. It's 8:30 here, but if you have any more questions, bring them on. If not, let's call it a day. Any more questions?
Save the chat.
Yes, save the chat. Yes, and please make sure you're connected with me on Facebook, and make sure you are on the Facebook group. Any question, reach out to me. You're very welcome, Michael, and all of you. I would love to over the next few weeks interview you on my podcast. So make sure we connected. Debra, you mentioned a wonderful gentleman last night that completely had a brain fart when he mentioned that he's a veteran who got, was it blinded in Afghanistan? Is he here today? Unmute yourself. Debra, we can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
Okay. Yeah. So so he's a client of ours. I think he may have left for today, but
was he here earlier today?
Yeah. Let me just have a look at my list. I'm not too sure if he was able to make it, but he was definitely here yesterday, because this gentleman is just amazing. He's called Paul Jacobs, everybody. He is an incredible veteran. He's won the George Cross. He was the youngest in ever to win it, I think, or somebody youngest in his regiment. He unfortunately was blinded by an explosion, but even when traumatized, he was still helping people to get to safety. And he now does amazing things like climb huge mountains and do all these incredible things for charity. And he's completely blind. So yeah, and he came up through the foster care system. So he's also had quite a tough start in life, and he's just the most amazing gentleman. He's amazing.
Please, if you can connect me to him, I would be honored.
Yeah, I will. No, definitely, I will.
What's his name, Debra?
It's Paul, Paul Jacobs, Jacobs. Paul Jacobs, amazing guy. Yeah.
Guys, any more questions? Once, twice, thrice. Speak now or hold your peace forever. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Good night. Good day. Thank you again for your time, for your trust. Deeply, deeply appreciate it. I hope this has been valuable. Has really got your creative juices flowing, get you thinking in the right way, in the right direction. And we're going to go even deeper tomorrow and the rest of the week. So see you tomorrow. Keep an eye on the Facebook group. I'll be posting the replay in an hour or so, and the link for tomorrow. And tomorrow, probably will have a surprise for you and a special guest. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Take care. Good night. Cheers.
Okay. Bye-bye.
See everybody. Bye now. Bye.